Welcome to What If We Can Change It All, the podcast.
A podcast created by Movement.medicine.
My name is Sharisa.
And my name is Janina.
We believe that we have the power and therefore we can change it all.
This podcast is all about reclaiming your power.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of What If We Can Change It All, the podcast. We are very excited about today's topic. As you can see, it is us too. And we are very excited and very, what's the word? All for this topic, I guess. We really truly believe in it. But before we dive into it, I want to say Happy New Year because we didn't do it yet. I hope you enjoyed last week's episode with Hannah. We both enjoyed having her as a guest and getting to know her actually. But today we're gonna talk about repetition is key. And we say this to all of our clients, all of the people that we work with, all of our members, all of our people that are in our coaching containers, our mentorships, like we say to everyone, because it is really, really true. And I think we are both just such high believers of it because it really helps us and also helps us our clients transform even more, right? Often when we do something and we need to do it again, we feel some type of resistance. But it's actually where the juice is to doing something again. Back to you.
Yeah, I think we sometimes forget the power of repetition, right? And this is repetition in key in doing your practices and repeating whatever you promise to yourself, right? So I don't know, your morning practice, doing your actions you promise yourself to do, eating healthy like that. But also repetition is key in the way we observe, take in information, right? So sometimes we forget that if we listen to something more often, if we get it in, if it comes in more often and actually takes a different way of landing, and therefore we can benefit from it in a different way.
Yeah, and I think that is something really, really beautiful because our mind and our brains are like so, it is like there's like a whole other dimension, a whole other method behind it, right? We often want to simplify it, but it's actually a very complicated things. The way we think, the way we work, the way we learn, like all those things are actually very, very complicated. So if you see your brain as like multiple levels, but also multiple parts of the brain, then it's actually really logical to repeat things, to re-listen to things, to have that consistency, to keep learning, keep growing, keep evolving, but also the power in repetition, right? It is like me myself, for example, like I am a really big Gossip Girl fan. My sister is as well, actually. But every time when I watch the series, I see things that I didn't see before, right? And I watched the series for like 7 times already, I think. But I really love it. But like every time you're like, oh, so that is what happened. Oh, but look at her facial expression, right? And this is a really simple and silly example as well, but it's actually very true. So if you can see and learn different things with like a binge watch series like Gossip Girl, like just imagine how you can rewatch like a masterclass or like a meditation or like an affirmation series or whatever it is, or do your practices over and over again so you can go to those deeper layers, because that is really where the beauty is, by constantly taking something else of it.
Yeah. And I think, can I go?
Yeah, of course.
And I think we're so used to just taking the information in once and then letting it go, right? If we look at the school systems, I think most of us went through, we learn for a test, we learn, mostly it's short-term memory, and we let go of it and we forget most of the information. And so this is also what we do in our daily life right now. So even if we are busy with our personal growth, if you're busy going after our goals, going after our desires, if you're busy expanding, if you're busy letting go of trauma, earning more money, whatever it is, right? Even then, we're so used of just listening to it once and then thinking that we understand and that we can apply it. But actually, mostly, it came in, it probably had a little way somewhere going and moving around, and then I don't want to say it went out, because it didn't really went out, but somehow it's, let's say it went into a place where we don't go that much. So it's not wired into our system yet to like use normal how it works actually. So we need to like repeat in order for us to create a new wire, a new connection in our brains. So it needs repetition in order to let go of the old way of learning and go to the new way. And actually, I believe this is the old way and we created a new way, but it's not that purposeful. Anyways, we need to let go of the school system way of learning, I believe, and allowing ourselves to really implement that what we're learning, really implement the tools, the knowledge, the new ways, the new patterns, right? Because, sorry, I'm going in like deep. You can go there. But even like it also takes away a certain deepness and a certain going within, because we stay on the upper levels. Let's say we stay um, on the surface, and we don't allow ourselves to dive deep within, and we don't allow ourselves to really grow and expand. It's just surface, and I don't want to say it's not enough, but it's not enough for us to really experience the growth and the change in our lives that we're, I think, all seeking. And so if you don't go deep, if you don't go within, and if you don't allow the repetition to be there, then the transformation that I think it's also because I wrote a post about this, but the transformation that's happening, it's not really long lasting, right? It's just for a short amount of time. And so after the sessions, or after the masterclass, or after the program we did, it will not stay. We go back to our old patterns because we don't keep on we don't keep on using the tools, we don't keep on implementing that what we learned, we don't re-listen to it, and so we block ourselves in growing the way we can, and we simply said keep ourselves small.
I think that is a really, 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 really good point that you tapped into, because I think like we all like, also if I look at myself in the past, right? Like I no, I actually did not do that. I was like giving an example and I was like, but it actually was not me. But let's say that you do like a program and you learn all these tools and you have like amazing transformation. Like, so let's say you do like a year program and you have all these tools and transformation in that year, right? And then you finished it and you feel good, you're on a high because you mastered all these new skills and new habits and everything. And then you think like, okay, I got this now. And then you just slowly let go of all the tools that you got, right? And then it's like, oh yes, I just invested like 10K to do this program. I felt amazing for the 3 months after. I felt amazing for the year. And then I just slowly dribbled off and did my own old thing again, right? So that's why the repetition comes in. It's not only when you're doing the thing, it's also after you doing the thing. Like most often the aftermath is actually more important than the program itself, right? Doesn't matter what it is. You can have an amazing masterclass or an amazing meditation class, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna meditate like every single day. You do it, you feel great, and what happens then? You self-sabotage and you stop it, and then you feel shit again, and then you wonder, why do I feel shit again? Because you stop doing the thing that makes you feel great.
Yes,
I got a bit passionate there. And that is something that did happen to me, right? Like I had this like hate-love relationship with my morning routine. I know if I do my morning routine, I feel amazing. Everything in my life is going smoothly, it's flowing, it's doing its thing, right? And then I feel so good, I feel high on life. And then I suddenly somehow stop because one day I don't have the time, or I think, okay, I'm good for today. That day turns into a week, that week turns into 2 weeks, in a month, etc. And then I wonder, why do I feel like this? Why do I feel like so out of balance, right? And then I have a little chat with myself and I'm like, oh yeah, I stopped doing the things that makes me feel good. And the interesting thing is that it's so easy to just slip away. And I think the most important thing to do then is also forgive yourself for having that little slip, but also thank yourself for having that reminder, because that shit that you put into place is actually helping you.
I think a very, very important aspect as well is that when we slip, right, when we don't use the repetition, when we don't do it, to have compassion towards yourself, because most often what happened then is that we become angry at ourselves, we become mad at ourselves, and then it becomes even harder to do it again, right? It becomes even harder to, I don't know, do your morning routine. It becomes even harder to be consistent, I don't know, on social media. It becomes harder to eat healthy. It becomes harder to go to the gym, whatever it is you want to do, right? Whatever it is you want to do in order to achieve your goal. It becomes harder because we are blaming ourselves and we basically become mean towards ourselves. And what if we can change it around, right? What if we can have compassion for all of it and then take
A little push.
yeah, I wanted to use a phrase, but I'm not sure if it's English, so maybe I will just not share it. But what if we take again the power we have in order to what if we take again the power we have in order to fulfill ourselves, basically. And so I think that's the importance of repetition, because without the repetition, the change will not happen. And so without the repetition, we cannot become the better versions of ourselves. And that doesn't mean that the persons we are now is not good, right? It doesn't mean that that the version we are now is not good, but we as humans are built and programmed, actually. It's just how the brain works, to always evolve, to always expand, to always become better. And it doesn't always mean bigger and better, but there needs to be growth for us to feel happy and fulfilled. This is just a rule. This is for everyone. And so for some people it's about making more money, for other people it's about, I don't know, becoming smarter, for other people it's about just whatever it is. And I think in the end, for all of us, it's about being happy, feeling healthy, feeling fulfilled. And this looks different for everyone, of course, but without that repetition, it's not consistent in a way, and it's never consistent. But without that repetition, it's going like this. You want to go it like this. I mean, we still have the waves and we still have the ups and downs, and that's very human. But I think a lot of us are experiencing like the extreme waves, the extreme happiness, and then extreme sadness and extreme anger. And it can be so much more peaceful, I want to say.
Yeah, definitely. What would you say that helps you to be consistent, like to keep yourself accountable, like in the beginning or like even now? Sorry, I didn't sprung that on you, but I did anyway.
No, it's okay. I want to say a few things. What helped me to stay consistent is going through extreme lows. I've been going through extreme lows, and I think as we all did, or I think most of us can relate to that. But so when I feel at a certain point of not feeling well, it's almost not about getting afraid of going there, but there's like a little mantra in my head where I'm like, okay, but I don't want to go that low anymore, right? So it's like this point where I'm like, it's still a bit comfortable, but it's not comfortable anymore, but it's still a bit of a comfortable place. And I'm like, okay, if I be even more, if I lack even more, if I let go even more, then I will go there again. And so I don't. And so what my partner always says is, do you want to experience like the physical pain or the mental pain? And this is really related to our morning routine. This is my cat. This is really related to our morning routine, but it's really true, right? Do you want to experience the pain in the moment of like your morning routine, of like doing it, or do you want to experience the long-term pain, which is mostly in the end more intense? So that's definitely one thing. And I think it's also a muscle that needs to be trained, right? So this is also something we forget. Like, the longer or the more often we practice, the more often we are consistent, the more often we allowed ourselves to repeat, the easier it becomes. So in the beginning, you will see that after 3 days, you want to break the cycle, right? And at some point, it's 3 weeks, and at some point, it's 3 months. And so at some point, it's just easy to keep the cycle just when you're with yourself, and it becomes harder when you are in a relationship, or it's harder when you start new education. So there's always like this little trigger points, but it's about catching your points where you sabotage yourself, and this will, because the muscle becomes thicker and stronger, it's faster and faster that you see your own sabotaging thoughts and ways.
Mm-hmm.
I need to put my laptop in the charger.
That's so good. I will talk anyway.
Cool.
I think that's really important that you tapped into it, because at the end, it's about like catching yourself faster, right? And that's with all things in life. So the more and the easier it is to catch yourself, the also it easier is to like read the little signs. Okay, what am I doing, and what I'm doing differently than a week ago when I did feel good? Or what am I changing right now in my routine that actually feels better, and I can keep that habit for myself, right? And I think that is something really, really important. And if you like, for example, my sister has like her partner who gives her like motivational talks about like working out and stuff, but like
both ways.
both ways, it goes both ways. But I think that is also the power of community, right? And why we as humans like thrive so much in community, to hold each other accountable, to hold yourself accountable, to like do it together and to be in it together. So I think that's also where like power lays. And I think my sister's example is like a really good example. My sister's example is a really good example of that. So I really like that.
Yeah. I think repetition becomes so much easier when we are in community, actually. And um, we are both really fans of morning routines, and we have seen like how it catapulted our growth, right? And how it helped us to stay on track with whatever our goal was at that point. So for me, it's easiest to talk about the morning routine, as it's like a huge example in my life. But even with the morning routine, it's easier when you do it together, right? And doesn't mean that your partner has to do it as well. It's about having those reminders in your daily life where you see that personal growth, or allowing yourself to grow and expand, is there, right? So this can be like every day a little reminder, but this can also be like once in a week, or I don't know, once in the 2 weeks, or once in a month a reminder, or once, well, I don't want to go further apart than once in a month, but like having those little reminders, and also like giving yourself different little reminders. So yes, definitely my morning routine is one, and having a partner, being committed, really helps, of course. But then at the same time, having a coach is another one, right? Being in a program or in a container, if you want to call it, is another one. Joining a membership is another one. So I think we both have like those different like points where we have like our daily, weekly reminders. We also have each other, of course, where we can like reconnect with this part of repetition is key, with this part of consistency is key. It's kind of the same, different words, they have different meanings, but they really complement each other.
Yeah, and I think that is like also something that I do. I make it a non-negotiable to like get myself in those places also, like to get myself into the containers in the membership, but also to get that accountability from other people and from myself, to make it a non-negotiable for myself to do it, whatever needs to be done for me to feel good. And of course, it's okay if you skip a day because you don't feel good, or you are in a hurry, right? Like I'm not, what's the word?
Stay loving towards yourself.
Yeah, I stay loving to myself, right? But I think it really shows me like the urge that we have as humans to connect with one another, to connect with like-minded people as well. And I think that's really, 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 really beautiful.
Yeah.
Love that and to pick up of each other's energies, I guess. I guess that's something that really, really helps, to put it easier, to pick up of each other's energy, to do it together and to generate that energy, make it even bigger.
Yeah. Yeah, I think what we forget is that when we are with like-minded people, we actually not even like everywhere we are reading unconsciously each other's energy, and so we're also mixing with the energies with the people around us. So in that sense, it's really important to surround yourself with like-minded people, surround yourself with people that are busy growing, expanding, right? Surround yourself with people that have the same like mindset, that support you, that don't make you feel small. Well, this can go very broad, but like it's really important to surround yourself with the like-minded persons, people, as it will help you to also will help you to keep your repetition. It will also help you to go for your growth and expand.
Yeah, and I think what is also good is that those people also help you to catch yourself faster. So, for example, like we are sisters, so we see each other quite often. We also have 2 companies together, so we see each other a lot, and then we're family members. But like when Cherise says something or I say something that is actually not really helping me, like we are able to just give each other a look, and then it's like, oh yeah, I didn't mean that, and just like reframe it for ourselves, right? So instead of saying like I am tired, and then if someone says I am tired, the other one looks at the other one, and it's like, oh no, I feel tired. I'm not tired, I feel tired, right? So that is also something that it does, because it helps you to catch yourself faster and train that for yourself as well. Because saying it out loud is one thing, but thinking it's another thing, right? So it really helps in the end. So I think that's yeah, that's so powerful. So I would highly recommend to do one of those things.
Yeah. Is there anything else that needs to be shared that you want to share?
In terms of this,
Yes.
I would recommend one more thing, actually. I would recommend all of you to reread your books.
To what?
To reread, it's a hard sentence. To reread your books. To read your books again.
Oh.
To reread your books. That's a sentence.
Yes.
I think it's English.
Yes, to reread your books.
I would highly recommend that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you have a book that really like gave you insights or whatever, like yeah, I have some books actually I want to reread. I do that actually. I reread books, but like if you have some books that like gave you something, then allow yourself. It's my cat playing. Then allow yourself to read it again and get different insights, because you will get different insights and it will help you probably a lot.
Yeah. 100%. Good. That was my last ad, I think, about this.
Sorry?
That was my last ad.
Okay. Another thing I want to add actually is a little self-promotion. If you feel like, well, we cannot. If you feel like you need a community and are ready to invest in your growth in a, I want to say, easeful, not a lot of commitment, but still commitment way, I think our membership would be a great fit. It's like one masterclass each month and then one Q&A session each month. There's a different theme, and so you see us twice a month, to be clear. And we dive deep into a theme, and then you have the option to ask questions about it, like the session after, or get like hot seat coaching with one of us / both of us. And I think it's a beautiful way of being in community. It's just 44 euros a month, so it's not like very high priced. I think it's affordable for everyone if you really want to make it happen. And it can be your first step in investing in yourself and allowing yourself to grow and expand in a beautiful community, I want to say.
Yeah. One thing I want to add to that is that it's like an evergreen, so you can stop and start whenever you want. So you don't have like a year contract that you have to stay with us for a year. If you feel like, okay, I just want to do it 3 months, after 3 months, you feel like, okay, it's good. If you want to stay with us for 5 years, that's also more than welcome. So just know that. And
Yeah, really no strings attached, basically.
yeah, that's what we really wanted for this membership, like a low ticket entry to just feel how it feels like, but also to commit.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Cool. I
Cool.
think that's it. Let's keep it short and sweet.
Yeah. We want to thank you for being here with us. We actually love to see how our audience is growing. I was just looking at it like the other day and I was texting Cherise, and we're just like very delighted to have you all, and also that you keep on listening to us. So we are very excited about that. For now, I would wish you all a beautiful day, morning, evening. And you will hear us again next week.
Thank you. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.